Well, as I mentioned during the tease, today marks a very important day in American history. On this day in 1773, a large gathering of patriots, no, they didn't have videos at that time, this is recreated, assembled in Boston, and in protest over unfair taxes boarded 3 ships, dumped 342 chests of tea into Boston Harbor. Now, these men, of course, were patriots. They actually sowed the seeds of the American Revolution. But we are 236 years later, and thousands of patriotic citizens continue to gather in cities all over the country, including Boston, now expressing their frustration over a government run amok. Derided by the mainstream media, the modern-day Tea Party movement has gathered momentum and is defining itself as a political force to be reckoned with. Take a look at this. This is a recent Rasmussen poll that shows that a possible Tea Party candidate would fare a lot better than a Republican one, especially among independents. But can the movement coalesce into a political movement that can actually replace elected officials in D.C.? Joining us now are Judson Phillips, he's the president and founder of Tea Party Nation, and Jack Pierce and Nate Wiggum, about whom more in a moment. They are all featured in a recent Tea Party documentary called Tea Party, the documentary film. Gentlemen, great to see you. Judson, I'll go to you first. You actually have a Tea Party convention coming up, and you got a very special speaker as your keynote there. Tell us who.
Well, we've got the convention coming up February 4th through 6th here in Nashville, and our keynote speaker for the last evening will be former Alaska Governor Sarah Palin.
Now, has Sarah Palin sort of signed on to your basic principles?
I'm not going to speak for her. She speaks for herself.
She sure does.
Obviously, she does. And obviously, I think if she disagreed with what we stood for, she wouldn't be coming.
But the point is that some politicians, mainstream Republican politicians, because she certainly was one, having run for vice president of the Republican Party, are trying to bring the Tea Party activists into their fold. Do you think they'll succeed?
They will, to a certain extent. The people who make up the Tea Party movement cover all spectrums, Republicans, Democrats, independents, third parties, you name it. What they're all looking for is people who are responsive in government. People ask me, how do you sum up the Tea Party movement in one word or one phrase or less? And I say people are fed up with a government that will not listen to them anymore. And so a lot of these people are going to go to the Republican Party. A lot of them are going to go independent.
Well, Nate, you voted for Barack Obama for president. What kind of turned you around and made you a Tea Party activist?
Well, I was just tired of the whole government crap that was going on, and I just wanted to change. That's all. I actually seen some of the policies that were being put through, and I'm like, I thought about it, and I said to myself, well, this kind of limits freedom constitutionally, so I need to do something about it. And I was kind of tired of yelling at my TV screen, so I decided to get out and exercise my liberties.
The big government crap. I love the way that you put it in pretty simple terms. But did you thought it out for yourself? I mean, did it actually affect you? Because part of the problem with all the spending and government involvement is it hasn't yet sort of come home to roost, you know, the problems that ensue from that.
Well, you're absolutely right to a degree. They haven't affected me directly, but I can see the trend and I can see where things are going. And I know that if we don't put a stop to it now, then we may not have any liberties or freedoms in 10 years.
All right, now, Jack, you also are a Democrat, or at least a former Democrat. What turned you around?
Hypocrisy, not abiding to the Constitution, lying, not being represented the way I want to be represented. It just got to be too much over the years, and like Nate said, tired of screaming at the TV for a long time, and I finally realized that if I don't take some action, nothing's going to happen. I had to do something out of frustration more than anything, and I can see now that it has an effect. I mean, we saw that today with the defeat of the health care bill the way that it is. So I guess just I'm fed up. I'm absolutely fed up with it, and if I don't take an action now, you know, who will and when will it? So to make an effect and to effect a change, I need to do something. So I'm trying to do it with the Tea Party and doing some things locally.
Well, Judson, you know, Jack just mentioned the hypocrisy issue. We started the program with that, where you have all these politicians with these private planes flying into Copenhagen, spewing out more carbon than I'll ever do in a lifetime. I mean, is it the hypocrisy element that really gets under people's skin more than anything else?
Hypocrisy is certainly it, because, you know, with government health care, you know, it's good enough for us, but, you know, good Lord, our leaders aren't going to be included in it. Is that not the textbook definition of hypocrisy, or what?
Yeah,
so hypocrisy is clearly a huge issue.
That's the point. People making rules for everybody else, but they don't abide by those rules. That's the hypocrisy that bothers me. Does it bother you?
That's where the point of them working for us in representing us has been lost. That what we desire out there is not getting done at the national level, and we have only ourselves to blame, because we let them take control years and years ago and sat back and said, well, everything's fine, I don't have to do anything, when the fact of the matter is the government is ours. It says so numerous times in the Constitution. It says we the people, not the government's going to tell you what to do, not the government's going to get involved in the car business, not that the government's going to get involved in banking. It says we the people, it's our government, and it's time that we take control back and put it in our hands.
Nate, I got to give you the last word. You got about 10 seconds. Go ahead.
Yeah, I agree. It is up to the people to take back the government. The government does not rule us. We rule the government. We cede our power to them, and it's time that they realize that.
Nate Wiggum, Jack Pierce, Judson Phillips, all stars of the show Tea Party, the documentary film. We hope you all go out and get that. By the way, go ahead.
www.teapartymovie.com.
Teapartymovie.com.
Teapartymovie.com.
Funded by anybody but the producer.
Thank you very much.
TeaPartyNation.com.
TeaPartyNation.com. Okay, thank you very much. Appreciate it, guys. Tune in tomorrow, by the way, to hear